Hey YouTubers, how's it going? Welcome back again to Kevy's One Stop Repairs. Well, we're going to show you some homemade punches, two of which were done on my lathe, and the other one was actually done by hand. Now, the materials chosen for the two on the lathe were done, they're also different styles, were actually done from ratchet handles. Now this used to be a Husky. I still have the serial numbers and stuff on it, and it still has the word Sky left from Husky on it. This was a specific punch that I made for punching with. And this is good for like center punching something. So if you have to make like a punch mark and okay, you can do that. This is extremely strong steel, so they make really great punches. But the ratchets themselves were shot. So I thought, well, you can't throw a perfectly good steel. Got to make something out of him. So this one I turned it down, and then I did all this work on the lathe and made the nice sharp point on everything. It's nice and contoured. I really like how that turned out. This one here, of course, also done on the lathe. This shape was left alone, of course. So I just did the front end, and then I flat nosed it at the front. And then, of course, I turned off all the knurls and put in some fancy little rings here. So it's still anti-slip, but you know, it still makes a good punch. If I have to punch out like a what do you call it, roll pin, good for punching out roll pins with, punching out other things. So really great that way. You could actually use this in a car as a glass breaker. Actually going to start making some of those. Now, this homemade punch, really good steel for using is Allen key steel. Because it's extremely strong, so it's not even going to damage that easy either. Like the ratchet metal is really good metal. This one, of course, was hand ground. This was ground just on the grinder. Okay, I didn't do this one on the lathe. I have made one on the lathe that I actually made for a neighbor, but I thought I'd do one and hand grind it. I'm actually going to be making some more that I'm going to do on the lathe, because you can never have too many punches, right? And this one's a really good little center punch. It's nice and sharp at the tip too. Everything turned out pretty concentric and even. I've even checked it on the lathe, and I got it pretty good, so that's not bad for freehanding it on the grinder. But this is an example to show you too that if you need a center punch in a pinch, and you know you just don't have the time to go out and buy one at the store, you know, if you've got an Allen key around, that you know, a spare one that you're not going to use anymore, but you could still use this one if you had to. You could actually grind it down on a grinder. You could even use like I use a stone grinder for this one, bench grinder, 6-inch bench grinder. But you could even do this. Let's just say, you know those drum sanders. If you got a drum sander, fire one of those up into your drill press and just go along the sides, and you can use a sanding disc for the drum sander. You can do it on that. If you got a belt disc sander, you can do it on that too. And you just keep rotating and rotating and rotating and rotating until you get that form and shape that you're after. And you know, you hold it light. You don't put too much force into it, but a little bit of force as you're turning. Keep the angle as close as you can to the degree that you want, and just keep rotating, 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 and eventually you get the shape that you want, and you got a punch. Takes you about maybe 5 minutes tops to make one of these things out of an Allen key. You could even take an Allen key that still has the bend section on it, right, where you normally crank it down. Leave that section alone, just do the back end of the Allen key, and you can still turn that down, so the back end is now a punch. The thing is, it's going to be a little tricky to try and hammer it, but you still could hammer and still get that center punch line in there that you want, the hole. You can still get that in, even leaving the L shape on the Allen key. I just particularly chose to grind off the flat part, but you could hacksaw it off too if you wanted to. But I've got, you know, tons of extras of this size because I got a whole bag of them at a yard sale. So I've been turning them into tools, among other things. Actually, in a pinch, you can take an Allen key and turn that into a nut. If you've got a lathe or you're really good at drilling dead center, and you can use that, make a nut, and cut it off with a hacksaw, and there you go. You got a nut. You threaded it. Away you go. You know, so Allen keys have a lot of purposes for them that are great, especially when you got spare ones. But I just thought I'd show these little homemade punches, and that you know, I've used them myself and they work really good. Just to give you a little bit of a thing here. Get a piece of scrap metal. This is just a piece of scrap aluminum. Okay, and we'll turn the camera. I'm using my laptop, so you should, you can see the top of the vise there. Let's get this on a clean spot. So I don't know how well you're going to see that, but there's our little punch mark there. This is just aluminum. So let's get a piece of steel. That's pretty clean. And there's our little mark on our piece of steel there. Okay. No damage. Still good. So, you can make punches out of all different types of things, you know, but Allen keys are a good way to make punches, especially if you need one. Even if you're just punching wood, you know, they're great for center punching wood with. You know, and it takes you a couple of minutes to make one. You just saved yourself a whack load of money. I mean, even just to buy one single Allen key about this size, you know, this is a 3/16. I mean, it may only cost you like 75 cents, you know, or 50 cents at the hardware store for a single key. You know, so what have you lost? 50, 75 cents in a pinch. You can always go replace that key another day. Especially if you're on a time crunch, right? It's like, oh, I need a punch. What am I going to use? You can use a nail too if you wanted to. Nails work great. It's for wood anyways, not so great for steel. Not bad on aluminum, you know, so there's more than one way to get access to a punch. So anyways, happy YouTubing. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.